Sage Don King,
Daphne Johnson,
Kendall Alexander Richardson,
Donna Dossett Major,
Angelino Cooper,
Taisha Triumph Clare,
Chad Rutherford,
Ron Rogers,
Anne-Marie Clinton Rowe,
Great Honorable Priest Rickman McKinney,
Rashay Sands,
Mr. Ebony Emmanuel,
Charlotte Reed,
Jason Gibson,
Cara Ellis,
Yvette Prince.
I'm Lincoln Bain, and I'm the leader of the Coalition of Independence. We are a group of Bahamians who have come together to be the change this country needs to see.
Change is here.
Keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. That's called insanity. Change ain't coming. Tell the people change is here. We're taking what is ours. We ain't never scared. We gonna fight for our rights. Ain't no backing out. The Bahamas loving how we got this real blackout. Taking our country back, not living so hopeless. Vote for Lincoln Bain, our Bahamian Moses. A real leader coming with a vision and a plan. So take a stand, every Bahamian woman, child, and man. The people can't be crying and hurting and jobless. Don't be fooled, y'all are the parties that cause this. Vote for COI for a change in the office. We fighting for our rights and our natural resources. The people can't be crying and hurting and jobless. Don't be fooled, y'all know the parties that cause this. Vote for COI for the change in the office. We fighting for our rights for our natural resources. Yeah. Stand up and make a change. Yeah. For Bahamians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here. We gotta quit with tradition and let's go forward with a mission to build a better Bahamas for all the children that live in. They sell our country and land and give it to all the foreigners. Keep Bahamians suppressed because they think we're not good enough. So we're making a stand, throw up a fist with a hand. Stand united as one nation under the sun. We the people fighting for the new Bahamas. We bring the facts, but they wanna bring the drama. They can go and put a sign in every corner, but the cry of the people will be louder. Stand up and make a change. For Bahamians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here. Stand up and make a change. For Bahamians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly 1 year ago, we began a journey. We began a journey to transform this nation. by educating the nation, about what was happening, about the potential of this nation, about the wealth of this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago, the Bahamas began the journey of evolution, the journey of change. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to have joined hands with several other activists, Charlotte Green, Cara Ellis, and many others, to get us to this point where we are today. We started a journey that ends in victory. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, the battle is the final battle. Tomorrow is the final battle. Tomorrow is where victory begins. Tomorrow is the dawn of a new era in this Bahamas. A new era where Bahamians will be put first. A new era where Bahamians will be owners of this nation and not simply the laborers. A new era is here, Bahamas, and we are proud to usher this in. Tomorrow, you all go to the polls and decide whether you want to go 50 years forward or 50 years backwards. The choice is up to Bahamians. There are people saying that, Lincoln, you've got to win this. The COI has got to win this. No, this is not about the COI winning. This is about the people of the Bahamas winning. Everyone gets a choice. God always gives his people a choice. They can even have a choice that is against his, but they suffer the consequences. I feel that that is what has been happening to us up to this time. The choice is yours. The fruit was still in the Garden of Eden. There are people making prophecies about who will win, about who will not win. Some have prophesied that the COI will win and it will be a coalition. Some have prophesied that the PLP will win. The fact of the matter is, you always have choice. It was for the children of Israel to go into the promised land, but it was their choice to delay it for 40 years. Because one, they didn't believe in themselves. Two, they didn't believe in their future. Three, they didn't have the courage to fight for their children. This one is bigger than you. This one is for our children. We will make a change in this country. But if you choose to stay in the wilderness, it is up to you. I am tired of this wilderness. I am tired of the wilderness of a dysfunctional country where nothing works. I am tired of a country where only politicians profit, where everyone else suffers and are losing their homes while politicians are building homes. Everyone is losing their homes while politicians are building subdivisions. I am tired. I've had enough of that, Bahamas. I've had enough of the Bahamas that doesn't care about the Bahamian people, but cares about everyone else. I've had enough of that, Bahamas. The question is up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to address before we get started, because we have a few things we have to address, including the pictures and the drawings, excuse me, of the new Bahamas. I want to address my people of Pinewood Gardens. My people of Pinewood Gardens. I moved into Pinewood Gardens in 1982. This is the difference between me and every single other candidate that we've ever had. That I am one of you. That when you flood, I flood. That when you're affected by crime, I'm affected by crime. That what affects you affects me. If every other constituency can have a representative in the House of Assembly from them, why can't we? Why can't Pinewood? Why can't the House of Assembly have a member of Parliament from Pinewood Gardens? Why not? Why can't they? Why can't we give our children something to look up to? A positive situation to look up to. Even further, why can't the representative for Pinewood Gardens be from Pinewood Gardens? Why not? Many prominent people live in Pinewood Gardens or have lived in Pinewood Gardens. The Commissioner of Police, the present one, lived in Pinewood Gardens. He was living in Pinewood Gardens when he became the Commissioner. There are Grammy Award-winning artists from Pinewood Gardens. There are World Championship boxers, track and field athletes in Pinewood Gardens, prominent lawyers from Pinewood Gardens. Why can't our Member of Parliament be from Pinewood Gardens? Pinewood Gardens was populated by single mothers who wanted a better life for their children. I think that we should be proud to send one of their children to the halls of the House of Assembly. It's time for us to represent us. Those single mothers wanted something different for their families. They wanted to move from Bain Town, Camp Road, Angliston, where my family moved from. And they wanted to go to this new suburb they were calling Pinewood Gardens. They found that they were robbed and ripped off. Their houses were falling apart and flooding. It was a disaster. Pinewood Gardens, I put it to you that one of the sons of one of these single mothers is going to come to fix that problem. Is going to rise up to be the one to fix that problem. You decide if you want change or if you want it to continue. Pinewood, send me to the House of Parliament to fight for you. When the church was broken down, when the 10 homes in Pinewood and Linden Estates were broken down, I stood with the people of Pinewood without any intentions of running for politics, only because it was the right thing to do. I stood for you then. I will stand for you now. Pinewood, give someone different a chance. Every 5 years, they send someone and say, vote for them only because the party sent them. Not that they care about this community. Just vote for them because the party sent them. And we always get left behind because we keep voting for the party. This time, let's vote for ourselves. Pinewood, vote for you. I was not able to get to every single house. They call the snap election. I have 52 corners in Pinewood. It's the map behind me. If I do one a week, excuse me, it will take a year. If I do 2 a week, 6 months. And so that shows you how long it would take. Dr. Minnis called a snap election to cause us to not be able to reach out and touch all 5,000 plus of our constituents. But know this, one of you is going to be there. One who can't run from you because he is one of you. I will be there. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to touch quickly on a couple of things. This is our last live before the elections. And so I want to give people a chance to ask questions that don't understand questions, touch on some stuff that we've touched about for the last year or so, the journey that we've gone through. But of course, I want to touch on something that went viral today. Something that went viral today. And it was some drawings, It was some sketches that we had rendered and put out there. Some of them, some people started searching the internet and they found some sketches that look similar to the ones that we have. And so it deserves explanation. Why not? Our government and our politicians should always answer the questions of the people. Nothing should be left unanswered because they work for you. And so we should practice this beforehand. All right? Someone says, I'm sorry. Someone asked about my sinus. I humbly apologize. About twice a year, I have some sinus issues with sinus draining the wrong way. I humbly apologize. That's what it is. I don't have any cold, anything. I'm good. All right. Thank you so much for your concern. So, ladies and gentlemen, Some drawings were rendered, and these are sketches. As we started to plan the New Bahamas, and you can see that we know all of these areas thoroughly. We properly investigate them on many different levels. Proper investigations. In some things we had to travel. In some things we spoke to persons in other areas, but we properly investigated. We also provided renderings for persons to be able to get an idea of what we were looking at. We have several professionals on our team. We have engineers on our team, professional engineers, and we have architects, an architect on our team. We have building contractors on our team, and so we have the right people to build the New Bahamas. All right, so we have the right terminology. We have the right people to build the New Bahamas, ladies and gentlemen. And so right now, as I talk a little bit about the New Bahamas and how it's gonna look for you, and touch on some of this, I want to bring in our architect because we have a team of overqualified people. I want to bring in the architect that did some of these renderings to help people understand, because people think that they went to Google, they saw some things, and they feel that our architect actually stole those things from Google because they don't really understand how it really works. And so they spread it all around, saying that we stole some buildings, etc. And so I think that's worth an answer. Because if that is the case, I can assure you that this architect candidate would have been fired by me by now. But we're going to explain to you how this exactly works, and so you could understand, because people don't understand how this works. So I want to bring you on. Let's get close in there. I get you a little closer. All right, a little bit more. I don't want you to lean. All right. Let me go over some more. All right. Okay. All right. Producer. Okay. She says thumbs up. All right. So thank you for joining us. You are the person who has been meeting with us. We've been telling you what we want, telling you how we want to see it, and you have been bringing it to life. You've been coming up with these renderings, etc. What I know, a lot of people who saw that stuff is going around didn't know, and that is that architects use software, all right? And these software that you pay for actually have templates. And so the templates can be taken from the software because they make things easier. The templates can be taken from the software, and then you can make changes to them as you want. And so I want you to take a second to explain this process, how the template works, and that the photos they saw was actually someone who have access to the same software that you have, that took a template and then rendered something in what do you call it, SketchUp. And so what they saw is SketchUp, and you can explain exactly how that works. Go ahead.
Okay. Good night, everybody. I want to say good evening. How that works is it comes in the software, all right? And when you purchase, they said download. They ask you to download. So, like myself, when I first got the SketchUp, it allows you for me to upload drawings and so forth. So we share it amongst plenty people, and you hoping that it gets on the software and so forth for everybody to utilize it. Now, what you're saying is millions of people have downloaded that. They have the download button right underneath the person's name. All right, so I took advantage of that, and when I purchased the software, it's linked to the download. Okay, so you have access to a lot of top templates because they want you. This is how they utilize it for you to download the software to end up with your sketches yourself. So I want you to know now, it's two aspects of that. All right, this year sketches is only for presentation. It's conceptual. All right, it's proposal. That's what it is. It lets you know what you can do in that area. But now, technical side of it is I use those renderings and create the technical side. That's what I showed you in my video today. Is that same airport? Like I can't give you the measurements of that from a sketch. Now, when you put it in the computer and you start to sketch out how it looks, and now you could tell the distance and the net. All right. So these are the different things. Now that up for change at any time because, like we say, this is the people's plan. Like someone commented to me on WhatsApp and said, "Listen, I want to make some changes." I say, "Fine. Go to this is going to be the people's plan. So make your changes. This is not the final drawing. The final drawing consists of plumbing, electrical, structural, which is very important. So when you see those sketches, they're only conceptual. They liable to change anytime. All right, but it
So
presents.
just to understand, because they're worried about the part that someone saw something similar on the internet. And so the important part of it is that what they saw is someone who had access to the same software that you do. In the software, it gives you template, like every software does, no matter what industry it is. And so that person that they saw might have taken the same template and then posted a rendering.
Yeah.
SketchUp is a community, an online community for persons who do drawings, etc., architectural drawings, so that they can put their drawings and their concepts out there. Once you put a drawing on SketchUp, you don't have any rights to it anymore. Actually,
No, and it goes viral.
it's just like Facebook. When you put a picture on there, you don't own that picture anymore. So they're saying that you stole some from someone. So they took the same template. They don't own it. All right. He took a template, not for all of the drawings, just for some of them. He took a template from there, and he did a similar drawing. He made some changes, etc. That's why he could show you himself making changes to the airport, etc. on there. All right, and so that's really how it works. SketchUp. When they Google, they saw the word SketchUp, but the person who showed that didn't know what SketchUp is. That's just where people place drawings for people to see. And what you use SketchUp for is to get popularity out there to help you get jobs. So people might see your concepts that you put out there on SketchUp, and when they see your drawings, they might say, "Okay, this person got some good ideas. Let me give him an architectural job." So that's what it is. All right.
And that's where the technical side comes in. And that's when you realize that that's when the real work comes in, okay? When you start to do your elevations and what so forth. And like I say, I was about to show that today, but I was in a rush trying to let you guys know how this architectural thing works. You know, it's like a library. A lot of these stuff that you see going on, and we're dealing with time, right? Time and cost. So don't just put it on us like, oh, we doing fraudulent things. No, you misunderstanding how things work in the field that I'm in.
Okay, and so just so everyone also fully understands, this is sketches, it's drawings, it's renderings, so that we can give you an idea. All right, it's called vision casting. These will not be the drawings used to build a hospital or to build any of the facilities that you saw.
Correct.
It would have to go to tender for an architect to bid to get the job to actually do the drawing. But for the purpose of letting Bahamians see what can be done, that's why we did a rendering. All right. And so that's to let people see what can be done and that we put thought into it. And so you would get the outside template, but you have to draw the floor plan, all right, which is what he would have done. You have to draw the yard space. What do you call it?
Surveying.
The surveying. You have to draw the surveying, which is what he also rendered. When it's the same picture, it has the surveying and it has the building. He drew the surveying, right? And so that's really how this works. So no drawing that he presented will be used for the final drawings, because that would be nepotism. All right. We can't have one of our architects getting the job to do that. It will go to tender, and then Bahamian architects will be able to submit their drawings, to bid on it, so that they can do the drawings. And that's how it works. All right. This was for concept and only for concept. Just so you understand, in every industry in this nation, we use templates. This is the 21st century. Lawyers use templates. Lawyers don't really draft these documents. They have templates that they use. They just change the names, probably dates, etc. That's how the world works. They use templates. Lawyers use templates. Web designers use templates. For those who were questioning him using these templates, I can show you a million websites that look just like the PLP and F&M website. Why? I'm a web designer by profession, a computer scientist, and I can tell you that the PLP's website is a template. That's a cheap template. All right, it looks good, but it's a template. All right, the F&M's website is a template. And so the same way in architecture, they have templates. Let me take a second to show them computer science and how computer science works. All right, the whole world works of templates. Oh, I have to switch the camera. Let me switch the camera quickly. There we go, front facing. There we go. Okay, I just switched the camera. Look at this. This is the PLP's website, and actually they have the countdown days to election day. All right, they have 2 hours and 50 minutes left. All right, and this is the PLP's website. So I can actually go into the source of this website. All right, any computer scientist knows about this. And if I look into the source and I quickly search for the word template, you will see where this is a WordPress website. A WordPress website. It's not an expensive website. Some WordPress websites are free, $10, $30. And so it's a template. See here? Homepage. Template. Template. All right. So they build their website using the template. Now, this is the Free Nationals Movement website. It doesn't have a countdown. And this is also a template website. If you go into the source, you will see right here, see, template. Template. It's a template. And so that's how the world works. So for mischievous persons who want to say that he copied anything, no, he didn't. All right, that's how the industry works, and that's how this works. All right, so their websites are cheap websites. Our website is not a template at all. So we're going to switch the camera back. All right, here we go. Get it back up there. So we just wanted to get that straight. What we have been doing, Bahamas, is we have been putting down the plans for the new Bahamas. We have been doing this in every way and presenting concepts to the Bahamian people. Okay? And so, yes, he's a trained architect. He draws, he uses templates. All of us do. I use templates in what I do. Okay? Mobile app builders use templates. Website builders use templates. Lawyers use templates. Everyone uses templates. That is the way of the world today. And that's how we speed up everything in what we're doing. Okay? But you take it, you add your thing to it, and that's what it is. So no one who they Google and saw those names there from SketchUp owns those templates. They were just doing some renderings on their own, trying to get some popularity. All right? That's how it works. I hope everyone understands. If not, we can deal with it in the question and answer period. We have to move on from that. All right? I want to thank you for being a visionary and a visionary for the New Bahamas, using your skills to help us to build and develop. I've seen hospitals like the one that you designed from the template. That I've seen a hospital like that in Orlando, to be honest with you. All right, I actually look at the picture of it, and so other architects do the same thing. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the New Bahamas. We've done our part. And now there's going to be Bahamian engineers, Bahamian architects working from around the world who are going to be the ones to get these jobs, to get these government opportunities, these contracts to do these kinds of things. He's going to be legislating in the House of Assembly, not drawing. So that's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. And so he will have nothing to do with that. But what he did was create what we want to see. All right? And so that's what it is. And so for anyone else who doesn't understand, the question and answer period is right there for you, and I hope that is understandable for you. All right? No one owns what he presented, and so that's it. So we want to move on from that. All right? So thank you so much. If you want to give a message to people of Tall Pines now, tomorrow's election day, talk to them.
Listen, great people of Tall Pines, you know me. I've been around. I've been handing my flyers. I've been meeting families up to about 5 to 8 families a day. Listen, I am here, and I hear your cry, and we're going to do this. Change is here. Change is now. Now is the time to let's go. No more debating now. Let's get this, okay? This is Kendall Richardson for Tall Pines. You know what I'm about. You know what we're about to do, and you know the promises that we're gonna take from these guys, okay? So let's go tomorrow. Let's do it. Meet me there. T-shirts are ready. You know, get free food and so forth. And let's have a conversation.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you so much
Yes,
for
sir.
joining us. I just want to take a quick second to talk to, you can bring it right over here, to talk to on the candidate before I get on to what I want to get on to. But I'm going to talk for a minute to the candidate for Carmichael. Thank you. I'm going to talk to the candidate for Carmichael for a minute. Just a last minute message for the people of Carmichael. They're going to the polls in the morning. Please join me. You can grab another candidate from out there. As you're going, grab another candidate from out there. All right, we're going to talk to the candidate for Carmichael. Please join me quickly. Okay, so we just had to take a minute to deal with all that mischief that was out there. People who don't understand how this stuff works, so they thought, you know, Kendall had done something untoward. But now I want to talk to you about, because you were working in that area also in urban transformation and in developing new housing and this kind of stuff. We didn't get a chance to present you as a shadow minister for that. But we're getting rid of outhouses and these communities that are not acceptable for people to be living in. But to your people of Carmichael, do you have a word to them before they go to the polls?
Yes, good evening, Bahamas, and good evening, Carmichael. My name is Charlotte Graham, the independent candidate for Carmichael. Tomorrow we are going to make decisions that is going to impact our lives for the rest of our lives, as well as our children's lives, their future. We have to make decisions and choices that are going to sustain us and take us into the new Bahamas. We're on the verge of a total collapse of our nation. We need to push our nation forward into the 21st century. We are too far behind. Our country is not in a progressive state. Our country is degressing. You know, as you look around, you can see the deterioration of our nation. Look at downtown. Look at our communities. Our communities right now is basically the report card of every single MP that represented our communities. Are you satisfied with the way your community looks? Are you satisfied? Is that good enough for your children? Is it acceptable? We have to get to a point where, you know, we set our standards up. I drove on to, I think it was East Street South, and I realized driving through on that main road, there was so much water. It was a flood, you know. They actually had wave. And I joked and I said, is this the wave that they're talking about? Ride the wave with Brave? You know how long, do you know how long that street and other streets in New Providence has been experiencing flood? This has been going on through both administrations. There are so many things in our country that has been going on through both administrations. No one seems to want to improve the standard of our country. So now it is our time. It is our time to take our country and to move our country forward. Many of us who are doing this, we had no choice. We had to step up. We had to step forward. We cannot allow our children now to take on this fight that we should be fighting now. We should be the gatekeepers to their future to make sure that they have an advantage in this life and in this country. It's our time now, and it's our children's time. Everyone else has already benefited off this country. It's our time now to put ourselves first in this country.
All right, listen, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of the sacrifices that you've made. We appreciate everything that you have done. You were the person who inspired Bahamian Evolution 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago. You were my inspiration. I want to thank you for that. I had no interest in going back into activism at that time or doing any of that stuff. But you came and shook me up and woke me up, and you woke up a sleeping dragon.
Yeah.
And and go ahead.
Bahamas, I can tell you one thing. I looked at myself, you know, I could not have been one of those persons sitting on the sideline, complaining and not doing anything. If you do not like your situation, do something about it. If you're not going to do something about it, don't complain about it. Adapt. This is not a situation we should be adapting to. We need to, I want you to know something. They say that our country is in debt. The Bahamas is a multi-trillion-dollar nation. Okay? They say that we are in debt. But I feel as long as we can do a complete inventory of our assets, we have everything that the world needs. All we need to do is properly market ourselves and our resources. It's time that we empower ourselves. It's time that our people are empowered. It's time that our people become owners of this land that you were born on. This is your land and everything that is in it. Our country has everything. And it's time that we stand up. It's time that we take control. Bahamas, the time is now. We might not have another shot at this. The time is now. Your loyalty belongs to country. Your loyalty belongs to your children, not to a party, to your children. It's time for us to secure their future because no one else is going to do it.
Yeah. So, Michael, what you are getting is someone who will fight for you, someone who was actually arrested for you, actually sat in the cell. When ministers locked down this country, this pretty little lady decided that enough was enough. She was not going to sit home and just take it. She was not going to go on Facebook and be a Facebook activist and beat her fingers to death. She was going to get out of her house, go outside, and fix it. And so they organized a protest where many of them were arrested. But guess what? That day, the lockdown stopped because persons like her stood up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a new Bahamas. Send Carmichael, send someone like Charlotte Green to the House of Assembly to stand up for you. That is what we need. We need a change, man. We need a real change. If people are going to stand up, we don't just need pretty faces or intelligent speakers or people with masters and doctorate degrees. We need people who are going to go in that House of Assembly and negotiate for us. People are going to sit in front of foreign investors and negotiate for us. That's what we need. People who are going to fight for us and for our children. That is what tomorrow is all about. You see, there are many people who are wondering how we can do what we're going to do. Our GDP is just a certain amount. But the fact of the matter is, I compare ourselves to other small nations like Singapore. No natural resources. We are full of natural resources. Singapore has no natural resources. No, not one. Not one. They barely have water. They have no natural resources. Their GDP is over $370 billion. Over $370 billion. 372.1 to be exact, in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a people who just put things in place for their people, who did things other than just wait for foreigners to come and invest and get jobs. 1 in every 6 households has $1 million in cash. 1 in every 6 households. The other 6 households are most likely persons that came to their country to work. But 1 in 6 households has $1 million in cash. No, I did not say worth $1 million. Has $1 million. We need visionary leadership, not more of the same. There are people who are telling you that we can't do this and we can't do that and nothing can happen. And listen, we have shown you proof of everything that we have said. Proof of everything that we have said and presented to the Bahamian people. Do you know why I wanted to address that issue with the architect tonight? I see it as even more proof of what we have been saying. I see it as more vindication of what we have been saying. Do you know why? Because if anything that Lincoln Bain has said from last year, September, had been incorrect, they would have been all over me.
Exactly.
They would have been all over social media saying he lied about this, he lied about that, he lied about the next thing. The fact that after a year of presenting facts on a weekly basis, presenting documents on a weekly basis, the only thing that they could come to you with was some sketches, but nothing about the details behind the sketches. All that we have said, the world is running out of sand. All that we have said, we have called names of persons who got the contracts. We have shown you the skullduggery they've done in Florida, where they opened fake companies. We have shown you the signatures of Hubert Alexander Ingram. We have shown you the signatures of Perry Gladstone Christie. We have shown you everything. We have shown you the treasure that is stuck in our waters, that is worth trillions of dollars with a T. We have shown you documentation. We have shown you the Aragonite and Sand Agreement that said that if treasure is found while you're digging for Aragonite, you get first dibs, that we will allow you to have it. That's what the government said to them. But you got to keep this secret from the Bahamian public. We showed you it in the documents. We've been calling names. We've talked about Dr. Hubert Minnis doing the Grand Nukayan deal because he had interest in it. We showed you how they spent millions of our dollars buying food that was going to spoil, knowing that they weren't going to keep the business open. Over the last year, we have shown you the deals that the PLP made for BPC. We have shown you Jobert Colby, the senator, working for them. We've shown you James Smith, the PLP finance minister, the PLP member of parliament. We've shown you James Smith getting free 11 million shares. Of all of these things that we have shown you, not once could they come and say, Lincoln Bain is lying. Lincoln Bain is wrong. All of the things that we have said. And so that is why I was elated that they came with this false information about the architect stealing some drawings. I was elated when I saw that, because the sensible Bahamians are going to say, like the calls I got today, many of you called me today, many of you, and said, wow, Lincoln, because of this thing going viral on social media, now I'm going to vote for you. Because now I can see that if the PLP and F&M war rooms had anything on you up to this time, anything, they would have been all over you. The media, social media, all of their trolls would have been all over you. Ladies and gentlemen, what you saw went viral tonight is proof of everything that we have been saying. The Bahamas is a wealthy place. We have shown you that the trucks that Bahama Rock uses to put the ragonite, the limestone in, calcium carbonate, in, are worth up to $7.5 million. One truck. They have a fleet of trucks. You're going to have a fleet of trucks worth up to $7.5 million each for something that does not have value? Bahamas, wake up. We got one shot at this. Wake up. The ship that they carry our aragonite and limestone out costs up to $100 million. In many instances, $75 million, but up to $100 million for one ship? Just to carry this natural resource? But they're telling you that we are selling dreams? Spain has identified 5,000 shipwrecks in our country. They are building a ship worth $280 million. Million. To come and retrieve treasure in our waters, and guess what we're going to get? Nothing. Bahamas, you got one shot at this. Brave Davis has sat in my face and told me, and I've said this publicly, and challenged him to say something. Challenge him to sue me. Challenge him to have me arrested. Do you notice even their trolls have said nothing? Because the only thing they could have done was check with Brave, and then Brave said, yeah, I told him that. Don't touch it. He said he is not going to let Bahamians benefit from their natural resources. This is what he said to me. He is old school. You give it to a few people and let them provide jobs. That's the words he said to me. If that's the Bahamas you want, then you have fun with that. We have given you all of the information. We have sacrificed. Since we became activists, this has become a full-time job. Many of the persons involved have not been able to work since last year because we have been focused on this. I want to thank you for your sacrifice. Giving up your career for Bahamian evolution. I want to thank Cara for her sacrifice. Giving up her career for Bahamian evolution. It has not been easy. It has not. Many people don't know the sacrifices that have to go into this. Many people glorify Rosa Parks. They glorify her, but they don't know that neither her or her husband could get a job in that town again. They had to move up north to Detroit to be able to get a job. Yes, she stood up in the bus. Yes, you glorify her. Yes, you praise her and say, oh, that was a good woman. But you weren't there when she couldn't pay her light bill. You weren't there when she couldn't pay her rent. But you benefited. You weren't there when she couldn't buy food and clothing for her children. Bahamas, all we're asking you to do tomorrow is to stand up. That's all we're asking you to do. To show them that we have had enough.
Bahamas, it can be done. It can be achieved. From that moment, I decided that I was going to go full-fledged into activism. I have encountered so many negative pushback, and I often wondered sometimes why the activists in this country really didn't make it far. You know, there's so much corruption, so much persons have sold out. But we made a decision. We chose to stand regardless of how dirty it was going to get. I was extremely fearful, but I decided and I made my decision that I was going to stand regardless. If I had to stand alone, I was going to stand. And today I am still standing. And I am going to continue standing. I am going to continue riding for my people until the wheels fall off. If I am the last person standing, then so be it. If I have to stand alone, then so be it. I have made up my mind. This right here is the reason I was born. To stand up in a time such as this, when others won't stand. I am not concerned about the corruption. I am going to walk through that. Names will be called. People will be jailed. People will be held accountable in this country for what they have done to the Bahamian people. We should be putting policies and legislations in place to protect our people, for our people to benefit. It's time we secure our nation, and it's time we secure ourselves and our children. It's time we secure the Bahamas. The position we've been put in, we are like the laughing stock. The Bahamas is such a beautiful place. And there are many persons around the world that love this country. But we need to put our country on the pedestal where it belongs. We need to bring back pride to our people. We need to bring back hope. We can live a better life. This is paradise. It has seemed like a plantation for many, but this is paradise. We can create paradise in this country for all and not just some. When the F&M is in, some people eat. When the PLP is in, some people eat. No, we need to become our brother's keepers. We need for all Bahamians to benefit off of this country. This is your right as a Bahamian citizen. This is your right as a Bahamian citizen. It's time we stand up. Get up. Speak up. Speak out. And say enough is enough. It's time for us to move over into the new Bahamas. Change is here, Bahamas.
I want to say to everyone, Shauna would have seen, documents that many of the Bain people have been seeing. We haven't released everything. We have enough documents to release a document every day for the rest of our lives. We have documents that we haven't even been able to go through yet. We don't have enough time in the day. And I want to just assure the Bahamian people that one of the first scandals in the F&M administration was the scandal of Bain. And you will notice when that scandal came out, something interesting happened. The files went missing. Bahamas, the files are not missing. We have located the Bain files, and now we know why they went missing. I have seen, Charlotte has seen, we know why the files went missing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bain deal was not about oil or the storage of oil. It was a land grab. Dr. Minnis and his family members and friends are in documents. Commissioner of Police, Dr. Minnis, is not to leave this country on September 17th. Y'all thought that y'all could hide files from the COI, from Bahamian Evolution. Y'all should know that this was impossible. by next week, once the blackout happens, you all are going to know what's going down with Oban and why it's like they just didn't want to let that go, even after the embarrassment, all the fraud and everything else. Why didn't they want to let that go? It's even caught up fraud. Anyone who knows about this knows what I just showed them. Dr. Minutes, this piece of paper right here, you should be sweating hard right now. The rest of the general public wouldn't know what this is. But you know what this is. As I said, the Oban files have been located. We need change in this country. Do not put Dr. Minnis back in government. It is going to be a mass giveaway of our land. And he is going to benefit from it. He is the most corrupt politician we have ever seen in this country's history. Do not, F&Ms under the sound of my voice, the F&M that you grew up in and loved, the F&M of successful Wallace Whitfield, the F&M of Kendall Isaacs, and the F&M of Hubert Alexander Ingram is gone. That is no more. Minnis destroyed that. Do not follow him down the ditch, over the cliff. Farmers, tomorrow, block out this country. Block this country out. Block it out. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just wanted to touch on that for right now. There's some things that we have not released because they're part of investigations. BEC, we have the documents. We've shown you what has gone down. We need that case to move forward again. There's a lot of things that we have to deal with in this country. I thank all of the Bahamians who have been bringing these documents to us. I thank all of the Bahamians who are fed up. I thank Bahamians who really want a change this time. I thank you. But I will thank you if you do the right thing for our country and block this country out tomorrow. Take away the power from the corrupt ones. Block out their power and bring that change. And so I'm going to open it up for questions now. If you have questions about the voting process tomorrow, if you have questions about anything that we've talked about, if you have questions about anything you don't understand, this is your chance. All right? This is your chance to answer those questions. If you have questions, okay. If you have questions, thank you, Ms. Green. If you have questions about anything, this is your chance. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be justice. We're going to track down our national funds wherever they are in this world. A lot of corruption has gone down, and we are going to take care of it. We're going to take care of you. There's enough money that we've identified that has been a part of corruption and illegality by politicians alone. There's enough money to give every Bahamian $100,000. Let me put that in perspective for you. I know that's a bold statement. One bank, in Switzerland, said that they found $8 billion that's connected to Bahamian bank accounts. That's $8 billion. That's half of the money we need to give every Bahamian $100,000. right there. That's one bank, one bank account. Who do you think that 8 billion belongs to? Well, I know who's holding it, but I think it belongs to us. That's where they hide their funds. We are going anywhere where there's money that belongs to the Bahamian people. Wake up, Bahamas. They want you to think that we are selling dreams. They want you to think that this is not possible, this is not doable. Wake up, Bahamas. Wake up. We've got one shot at this. We're going to stand up for you. We're going to fight for you. And so I'm going to open this up for questions. Any questions that you may have. I'm going to start with the question that I got today. There were people who didn't understand the $2,000 stimulus that we want to bring in when we get in. People didn't understand it. They said, how are we going to do that? That's not possible. Again, they said, you must be selling dreams, because where are we going to get $2,000 to give to 400,000 Bahamians? Again, stop letting people say that. It's not 400,000 Bahamians. We're giving to adults. The adults are responsible for their children. It's for adults, Bahamian adults who were born here and have a passport. Bahamian adults who were born here and have a passport. Okay? It's about 150,000 persons based on our calculations. All right? That's what we estimate. Right? And so we're going to give $2,000. This is what America did. This is what Canada did. This is what the Turks and Caicos did when their government got in recently. They gave a similar stimulus to every single adult in their country. Okay, Canada does this. On a weekly basis, they were giving persons $900 every week. All right? This is a stimulus. Now, how does this work? Why would you do something like that? You see, when people don't understand economics, it sounds like money you're dumping and throwing away. No. When the government gives money to the people, it circulates in the economy. The government gets it right back. Because if I give you money, then you're going to go to someone else who gives you a service, and you're going to pay VAT. That person is going to go to someone else who gives the service, and they're going to pay VAT, the 12%. They're going to go to someone else who gives a service, and they're going to pay VAT, and it continues. A product or service, when it's a product, it has to be replaced, because someone is going to have to come in and pay customs and VAT on that. And so the government is going to get that $2,000 right back. Okay? So the money is going to circulate in the economy. All right? And as it circulates in the economy, it's going to come right back to the government. Then after a period of time, a 3-month period or however long it takes to get that money back in, then you can do a stimulus again to keep the money circulating. Now does this make sense? Do you understand how this works? That is what you do. Okay? And so there are people right now who are at the edge. They don't know where they're going to get another dollar from. So are we able to do this? Where are we going to get the money from? This government says they spent about $200 million on food stamps, on grocery and helping people, with the food program. They spent about $177 million more on other stuff, COVID-related stuff. Think about that. So that's more than $300 million. To give every Bahamian adult $2,000, that's $300 million. But you see, the government could have done that, but they chose corruption instead. The government could have taken that money and given it to you, for you to spend. But what they decided to do was to take the money and give it to the oligarchs, the same people that they bought the groceries from at a higher price. They bought the groceries from the same oligarchs who pay for their elections, the wholesalers, the distributors. And so that money went to them. And guess when that money goes to them, guess what happens? It goes in their big bank accounts and stays there. It's more billions of dollars that's stuck and not in the economy. But when we give the money to you, the money, circulates in the economy, because you pay your barber. Your barber pays for his products. Your barber pays for electricity, and he pays VAT on everything along the line. Think, Bahamas. They choose corruption. and keeping the money to themselves? Do you prefer for that 300 million to be stuck on the bank accounts of the oligarchs, as Minis did, or you prefer for you to get that money and for the money to circulate a few times in the economy? Does that make sense? If it doesn't, then listen, vote for Brave and enjoy your time machine back 50 years. Vote for Minis and jump in your time machine to take you back in time 50 years. And so I'll take other questions. So can you help me with questions, please? I can't. They say something about a graveyard in Spanish Wells, but I can't repeat stuff that I don't have proof of. Yeah. So they're showing me something on WhatsApp about a graveyard in Spanish Wells, but I don't ever repeat anything that I don't have absolute proof of. So I can't repeat that. All right, go ahead. Again? Yeah, I can't. I don't. They're asking me where do you vote for Tall Pines. I don't have in memory where you go for every polling division. So you have to do your research. You have to do your research. Go check on the government website, and they have something on the elections.gov.bs. Something is on there to tell you where to go to which polls to go to. I can tell you where to go for Pinewood, and that is CV Battle. So it used to be CV Battle and Cleveland, but Pinewood this time, all of your polls is at CV Battle. Okay? Next question.
What are your top 5 issues that COI will tackle from day one until next?
All right, we got to slow down on that one. They said, what are your top 5 issues that COI will address when they come into office? All right? Our top 5 issues. 1, we're going to put Bahamians first. 2, we're going to make sure all Bahamians benefit from their natural resources. 3, we're going to set up a sovereign wealth fund. 4, we are going to have investigations and commissions of inquiries to determine what has been going on in terms of corruption in this country as it relates to the politicians, as it relates to any of the funds that misappropriation has been happening, false declarations, etc. We're going to investigate all of these things. 5, we are going to transform our educational system. Our educational system has to be transformed because people learn differently. We're going to finally transform the education system. Go look at our plans. 6, we are going to transform our energy industry. We are going to be able to provide free energy for all Bahamians by going into the 7th thing that I'm going to list, carbon credits. And so energy is going to be free because we're going to build solar plants in this country. 7, we're going into carbon credits. This is right away. Next week, we are going to get put everything in place to start carbon credits. 8, we are going to give every single Bahamian an acre of crown land for free. Now, when I say for free, you know what I mean. You have to pay $1 because there's some transaction that has to happen. All right. Every Bahamian will get their 1 acre of crown land. All right. And we're going to have serious land reform. They call it agrarian reform, where our Bahamians are going to benefit from our land. Our farmers are going to be given land to farm on and subsidies. This is important that we're able to feed ourselves. Tourism is going to go from, and I know you asked for 5, but you know I could do this all day. Tourism is going to go from an advertisement agency to a business for Bahamians. All right. Look at our plan, and you can see that. Sports. We're going to invest heavily in our young people as it relates to sports because there's going to be a huge return on investment. Agriculture. We're going to invest, heavily in agriculture. Heavily in agriculture. All right. We should be able to feed ourselves. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to feed ourselves. All right, I can go on and on and on because we have to do some revamping in the police force. We should be doing some revamping in other areas. The next big area I should have listed as one of the top priorities is health care. Healthcare is going to be free for Bahamians. Free for Bahamians. Healthcare is going to be. We have shown you how this can be done and how we're going to get it done. And so healthcare reform is major for us. We've talked to you about the plans for that, how we're going to do it, how we're going to make this work. If you're watching this for the first time, you might not have seen that, but we're letting you know that healthcare reform is going to be a major transformation in this country. Next question. We need to win 20 seats. They asked how many seats do we need to win election? We need to win 20 seats to win this election. There are 39 seats, and we need just a majority, which is 20 seats. All right? And so we need you, the Bahamian people, to deliver this change for us. We need you. For all of those who are considering voting for other third parties, concentrate your forces on the COI. Vote for the COI. Why? We're the only one that has a chance to win this. All right? We're the only one who has a chance to win this. You see the support, you see the momentum. Get behind us, Bahamas. Don't spread your votes. There are people in those other parties that we're going to work with and bring them in government in 700 position. But in terms of getting this out of the hands of the FNM and PLP, don't spread it. Concentrate your efforts on the organization that has gotten it done. We have operated just like the big parties. We've been traveling. We've been doing everything that they've been doing. In fact, we've been doing more. We've been fighting for people. We've been operating on the same levels as them. We've put forward enough candidates, enough overqualified candidates to get this done. We can do this. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, tell them to look for the splash when they go to vote, except for it being in Grantstown, where it's a teacup for Donna Dossett Major. Ladies and gentlemen, will Bahamians be building the new hospital? Yes. We will build a new hospital. Okay? A Bahamian architect is going to do the actual rendering. Excuse me. We're going to sit down with him and tell him everything we've studied, what we need in each room, how we need it to be. We're going to show him our floor plan. We're going to show him why we want it a certain way. And it's not just a hospital, it's a health city. It's much more than a hospital. The hospital is the smallest part of that because we're going to be focusing on health, not sickness. All right? So that's how we're going to change the game. Next question. They asked if the salaries for member of parliament to be raised. We think that the salaries at this time, we think that the salaries are sufficient because many members of parliament have cabinet positions and other positions. They don't need to raise their salaries. Some people say raise the salaries because it may stop corruption. Listen, billionaires do corruption. Billionaires and millionaires steal. It doesn't have to do with whether you have money or not. Look at all the corruption that Brent Simonet does. He's worth hundreds of millions, but he does all of these crooked deals. And so it doesn't matter how much money a person has. It has to do with their integrity for the people. All right? So that's my answer to the question. Next question.
Will wages be raised so there be benefits for citizens?
Yes, wages will be raised for civil servants. I've already spoken to police and other officers. They're going to experience the kinds of raise that they saw in the 1990s. In the 1990s, I was a police officer, and by the time that I left, my salary, and this was like 5 years later, my salary had doubled. All right, my salary had doubled. Because Ingram came in, and he just, every year, we got increments, and we got increases in our salary, and that's what he did. People thought it was reckless, that he shouldn't do it. But he brought us to a proper living wage. It hasn't really changed since. We're going to increase the salaries of civil servants, etc., so that it's the proper level. But the future of the Bahamas is not about salaries. All right, it's about us benefiting from the wealth of this nation. You're going to be civil servants as a civic duty because you love what you're doing and because you're doing this because we need Bahamians to run these civil services, not because you have to. There's going to be no more jobs because you have to work. You see, when we study Dubai and Qatar, Norway, these kinds of countries, we realized that when people started to benefit from their natural resources, they started to be able to do what they love doing. They didn't get lazy. Like people say, Bahamians aren't going to work anymore. Yes, some may not. But people now can do what they love. They can now open a business they always dreamed of. The person might say, yes, I'm good at making pastries, so I can open my pastry company and my government is going to help me make this international and export this around the world. The world needs to know about guava duff, not just the tourists who come here. The world needs to know about guava cake. The world needs to know about crab cakes. And so now we can find a way to package this stuff, and you're doing this because you love it. It's not because you need a job and someone else is making the money while you are getting paid a salary. And so this is how we're going to change the game. We want Bahamians who are going to do what they love. And so the naysayers are saying, oh, no one is going to work. I beg to differ. Naysayers are saying, oh, people are going to squander this money and spend it. I'm going to say, good. Make sure you open a business that they can come and spend it with. Make sure that you open a business that you know that, okay, they're going to buy a bunch of jewelry. Let me open a jewelry store. So instead of having Bay Street full of jewelry stores owned by Indians, now we can have families that come together and say, let's open a jewelry store downtown. And it's owned by Bahamians. And then when the Bahamians who want to squander their $100,000 come to your jewelry store, it stays in the society. If you know that they're going to go to a club and pop bottles of Cavassier, then you open your club and let them come pop the bottles with you. Think smart, Bahamians. Next question.
What are the plans for Grand Bahama?
What are the plans for Grand Bahama Airport? Listen, Grand Bahama is going to need a proper international airport because we are going to transform Grand Bahama into the jewel of this country. Grand Bahama, the F&M has not been good for you. The PLP has not been good for you. If you want people with vision, you have to work with us. You have to black out. We are going to transform Grand Bahama into a jewel. And so the airport is going to have to be able to bring in the airlift that they need for what we're going to do in Grand Bahama. Okay? We've already shown you that we have the plans. We have the plans for Bahamia. We're going to buy out the remaining properties in Bahamia. And we're going to put, we already have the document. If there isn't anything we're talking about doing in the future, we're ready to go now. We have the documentation for Bahamia. And so we're going to put some of those zero carbon homes in there. We have the documentation for Xanadu and other places in Grand Bahama. Documentation for Alukaya. And so we're not going to sell that anymore. We're going to keep that. All right. And so we have to make sure that the airport is able to facilitate what we're doing. Next question.
So the Bahamas put this
Stenographers. Will the Bahamas put the stenographers back in the courtroom? Yes, we will. We need that. That's important for court cases. Yes. So the quick answer for that is yes. I want to address while I'm at this the straw market vendors who've been out of work for all this time. And I think that what happened to them is wrong. Moving forward, to make sure that we don't experience this again, moving forward, we're going to make sure that any MOUs for hotels, for major hotels, is going to include a straw market. All right, a straw market, a nice, classy straw market where straw vendors can set up in the hotel itself. Why? Because hotels are more and more making it so that they're encouraging their people not to even leave the hotel. So a straw market in Paradise Island, that's a ghost town. Because people from Atlantis aren't necessarily going to go over there. But if it's on the compound somewhere, then we can have this dealt with properly. All right. And so with the straw market vendors right now, we got to get those straw markets opened. We're going to give free testing, and so it's going to be not a problem. We're going to give free testing so we can test them as many times as we want to make sure that they're healthy. But we got to get those straw markets open ASAP. Next question.
What y'all plan to do about
What do we plan to do about the Port Authority in Grand Bahama? We plan to make them an offer they can't refuse. I think it's time for the Bahamian people to take over the Port Authority. It seems to be lacking vision that went with the original founders. It's lacking vision. And so we are going to give them an offer they can't refuse. That's all I want to say for now. But we have already studied the legal side of this, every single area of this. And that includes, if they do refuse, which we know they can't refuse, building a free trade zone right next to them and making them irrelevant. All right. But we're going to do some things that we're going to give them an offer they can't refuse. All right. That's all I want to say for now. But the Port Authority is going to be controlled by Bahamians.
will curfew be lifted from their say
Will, so the person said, will the curfew be lifted this Thursday? They're all about being safe, but they're tired of staying home in the evening time. I think that's what they said. Listen, I have already informed the Commissioner of Police in front of the FNM and the PLP that once they announce a blackout on Thursday evening, the curfew ends immediately. Their police officers are not to enforce a curfew on any Bahamian. The curfew ends immediately. Thursday night, Friday night, and into the future. The curfew has zero purpose. It has no scientific backing or purpose. It is nonsensical. It is a violation of our rights. If they can show me where the curfew can stop COVID, then I will accept. Okay?
what about the contact with they get
Someone asked me, I gotta get that question. It just popped in front of my face while I give me the question. Will you continue to do these lives with the Bahamian people? I think they mean I can't see the whole question, but I think they mean when we get in, yes. We will continue to do lives. It will be done by BIS, of course, the team at BIS. We are going to continue to do lives on a weekly basis. We will address the Bahamian public. You deserve to know what's happening. You deserve to know what is going on in this country. Because there's going to be a lot of work to be done, we may have to do these lives on a monthly basis, once a month, where we answer the questions of Bahamian people just like this, and then have a proper press officer who's not going to insult the Bahamian people, who is going to answer questions transparently, do lives on a weekly basis. But as long as I'm able to continue with the work that we have to do, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of promises we made, a lot of things we have to do in a 5-year period. As long as I'm able to do that and still take the time on Sunday evenings at 5 o'clock to do these lives, I will continue to do that. Go ahead.
Can a bridge be built from Morris Island to Sandy Point in Albuquerque?
Someone suggested building a bridge from Morris Island to Sandy Point in Abaco. We haven't investigated that. I don't like to speak to things that I don't know about. I'm going to investigate that. That's a good point. I've been on that boat ride from Morris Island to Sandy Point. I know it's a long boat ride. So we'll see how that works, whether it's a boat or a ferry or probably a tunnel. We're going to see. But we are going to develop Morris Island into a fishing city. Like the world would want to come to see what happens there. So we're going to develop Morris Island into a fishing city. So there may be economic reasons to build a bridge going there if it is physically feasible. But we'll investigate that. Next question.
Will the CLI look into recent government promotions? There have been reports of last-minute unfair for the election.
Will there be a review of the promotions? There seem to have been unfair promotions. We're not gonna stop anyone who has been promoted. If they have gotten there, then they've gotten there. We're not gonna demote anyone. But we are going to make sure that moving forward is going to be a meritocracy where people get promoted on their merits, not because they're connected to anybody, not even myself. We're going to make sure that we have a meritocracy in this country and that you're promoted based on your merits. All right? And I can assure you of that. Next question.
If you lose, would you continue to fight for the people from the outside?
Will I continue to fight for the people from the outside? Listen, there's many times in my life, I've been fighting for a very long time. From kindergarten, one thing about me, I can't stand to see people being bullied and not get in there and help. I can't stand to see people need help and not help them. This has been my track record all my life. And there's been many times when I've said, wow, I've fought for so many people. Some people are so ungrateful. It's just about them. Once they get straight, they don't care about anything anymore. So many times I've said, you know what, I'm tired fighting. When I decided to leave and go to law school, that was my sentiment. I just needed a break. Many times, even last year when we started this, I was tired of fighting for people. I fight so many battles for people that many people don't know about. They only know about the cases that make the news and that go famous. But I've fought against insurance companies, I've fought against banks, etc., and I've won every single fight that I've fought. Thanks to God. And so I don't think it's in me to stop fighting. The thing that is what I do best. Someone says, "What is linking me to success at?" That's fighting for other people. That's what I do better than anything else. I can stand up. I can fight. I'm fearless. I can fight on any level. I'm trained on any level to fight battles. I know the law to a T. I've been trained for all of this, and so I don't see myself even being able to stop if I wanted to. In fact, I've tried a few times and it didn't work out.
Under the COI, we ensure that the correct foreigner ratio and job size is up.
Under the COI, will we ensure the correct Bahamian to foreigner ratio and job sites? Let me help you understand this. In this term of the COI, we're going to transform the Bahamas into a place where Bahamians are the owners, and that eventually there will be a lot of foreigners working for the owners. Transform your mindset. Let's move forward. When I went to Israel to open a shoe store, I started to notice that the Israelis were not the laborers, they were the owners. The Palestinians and others came to work for them. When you go to countries like Dubai, the people of Dubai aren't the laborers, they are the owners. And the foreigners come to work for them. Americans own America, and foreigners like Bahamians and Jamaicans and other Europeans come to work for them. You have to transform thinking. Transform. I know there's a transition period, but in the meantime, where we're going, forget about minimum wage, forget about it. Take it out of your minds. You're going to benefit from your natural resources. Forget about labor issues. In the short term, we're going to fight for your labor issues until everything sets in with benefiting from your natural resources. But we're going to make you owners. That's the mission. Next question.
Someone says the curfew
Someone says the curfew is not to control COVID, but to control crime. We should leave it in place unless we can find more. I think they said opportunities for people, more income for people, etc. Listen, you don't need a curfew to control crime. There's other ways to control crime. A curfew is a violation of your constitutional rights. In fact, if you really want to control crime, just make it so that no one can come out of their house at all. Curfews don't really curb crimes because the majority of crimes happen during the day. That's my experience as a police officer, and you can look at the stats and you will see that. The majority of crimes don't happen at night. The majority of crimes happen during the day. The majority of murders happen during the day. The majority of robberies happen during the day. The majority of house breaking happen during the day while you're out to work. So curfews won't solve crime. Okay? We have several police officers on our team. We experience as it relates to this. It is a violation of your constitutional rights. You should be able to move around, to go on the beach and catch yourself, de-stress at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Okay? That's the long and short of it. Next question.
Will business license be free to Bahamians with no red tape?
Will business license be free to legit Bahamians with no red tape? With legit businesses? Yes. That's a short answer. There will be no more red tape. We're going to get rid of all of that red tape. All of when you go in for licensing, everything is going to be located in one building. You don't have to go to this building for this, that building for that, the next building for the next thing. The government will move your files if they have to, not you moving your files. All right? You're going to, on the software, be able to see where your files is in that process. If that's a specialty business, if it's a regular business like a clothing store or something like that, no, man, you get a license right away. The day you apply, the day you get your license. Okay? The inspectors can come and deal with it at a later date. Our billing should be, that for rent should be registered so that we know what the deal is with all of them. We should have a profile, a software with a profile for each rental, commercial rental building. The same way they have Zillow, where they have a profile for each property in America that's for sale. Why don't we have a listing for all commercial properties so that we know whether it's worthy or not? So when you apply, they can look in the system and see, and then they can do spot checks to make sure that it's good enough to operate, but not slowing you down in the process. When you apply, that day you should be able to get your incorporation and your license immediately. That's the new Bahamas. Continue.
There needs to be a new news station.
So there needs to be more news stations because these ones are very biased. They're biased because they are afraid of the new Bahamas. News stations are normally biased. News stations were initially biased against Barack Obama because he was new and different and talking about change. Eventually, they caught on that, oh, this guy's a rock star. No matter how we try to stop him, we just look bad. So we can't keep doing that because we're going to look racist. So eventually, in the end, they started covering him. The news media was biased against Donald Trump. The Republican news media didn't want him initially, and neither did the liberal news media. And so they were biased against him. That's why he went to social media, and he would be tweeting all day, every day, tweeting 6 million times a second, if he had to get his message out so that it was not twisted the way they wanted, So, yes, the media is biased in this country. We saw that Rev Bahamas, and so I implore everyone to not watch the coverage of our news for the election tomorrow. Watch some other news station. They did a poll that they're going to be using during their news broadcast, where they did not include the COI or myself in any of the questions, and so don't even give them your attention. They're biased. They're going to want to put things out there that are biased. Don't entertain them. All right? There are laws in IRCA where there should be fair play during election time once the election is called, but they're not following those laws. And so we're going to have to enforce them when we get in to make sure that there's fair play across the board. All of the polls by Cable Bahamas, Rev, are biased. All of the polls by Intel Key are biased and fraudulent, and in my opinion. And so let's focus on other news media. Go ahead.
What about travel visas and COVID tests?
Say again?
So basically after travel visas and COVID tests.
They asked for travel visas and COVID and COVID tests will be free. Travel visas will not be free. They will be gone. There will be no travel visa. There's no point or purpose for that other than putting money in the coffers of F&M croonies. Okay, that was the purpose of that until they got caught, and then they ended it. So Canoe will not be dealing with the government moving forward. Okay, we have to investigate what happened with Canoe, what happened with the government and everyone connected to it. If we find that there was corruption there, then persons will be going to jail. All right, it's simple as that. The travel visa and all testing will be free. We'll be able to accept rapid antigen testing, which is cheaper. They cost like maybe $1 or $2 for them. They don't cost anything. So it's going to be much cheaper, and that's what we're going to do, and it's going to be free. All right. Next question.
Somebody said too many
Too many young people are in the streets at night without any supervision. Will you implement a curfew for minors? No. Unless there's some serious build-up or serious issue, we'll not be having a curfew for minors, but we will make sure that unsupervised minors, that parents are responsible. Your kid should not be at 11 o'clock on the night on the street. You need to know where your kids are. If your kid is on the street at 11 o'clock in the night, you have some questions to answer. As simple as that. Take responsibility for your kids. Next question.
Will there be any changes with the uniforms for police officers, correctional officers?
Let me get this question before I come to that. Is it possible for every house and business in the Bahamas to have a registered address and numbers like the US? We've talked about this in our last live. Yes, we're going to have registered addresses and zip codes so that now you can order on Amazon and have your product delivered directly to your door. And it's going to be easy. All right. You can order from eBay, Amazon, whatever, and it's going to come directly to your door. This is a priority. Okay. I'm going to clean up the GPS system because sometimes you've used it. It sends you to some other place, not really where you're directed to. Clean that up. We're going to have a zip code system, and that's going to help. We're still determining whether we should have post office boxes or not, or just have it mailed to your door. We'll make that decision as soon as we get in so that we can decide how to make that work. But I want Bahamians to be able to go online, order something from Walmart.com, and the product comes straight from Walmart, straight to your door, wherever you live in the Bahamas, off Soldier Road, all right, in Bain Town, Lily of the Valley corner. Next question. Will there be any changes for uniforms for the police officers, correctional officers, etc.? Yes, there's going to be some minor changes to the uniforms. Definitely police officers, once we become Republic, there's going to be changes, all right? Now, definitely police officers are going to be able to wear more comfortable uniforms. Those big ceremonial helmets and this kind of nonsense and the slippery boots that they have to wear, no. All right, those are gonna pass away. They're gonna be for ceremonial purposes for persons who want to see these kinds of stuff. But in terms of a police officer should be comfortable so he can actually fight crime. All right, next question. What's the status of the advance poll ballots? We are still very concerned about the advance poll ballots. We are still extremely concerned about that. The Pinewood boxes are still unsealed. So are all of the Family Island ballots. We believe that Dr. Hubert Minnis is attempting to steal this election, or if he sees that he can't win, to push it towards the PLP because they prefer the PLP or FNM to be in to continue the corruption than for us to be in. All right? And so that's it. How quickly will the hospital be built? The hospital, we're going to start on that right away. That's a priority. The money is already there. The United States has already loaned money to this country for the hospital. well, that can be used for the hospital. They loaned $100 million to do that, and so we have more than enough to start building the Wealth City. All right, so the hospital here and the hospital in Grand Bahama will be built. Hospitals will be built, and the first phase of the Wealth City will be done. Next question.
What about the treasury money that's sitting?
What about the treasury money that is sitting in canoe bank accounts from the travel visas? Any treasury money that is a part of corruption is going to be an investigation, and there will be a remedy. If persons have to go to, if politicians have to go to jail, they're going to be sent to jail. But there's going to be an investigation into canoe to determine what happened there. In fact, the investigation has already started. We can't say everything that we know, but we are going to investigate, and anywhere that there's corruption, we are going to deal with it. Any monies that are seized, any property or business that is seized in these investigations are going to go to the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and every Bahamian will benefit from them. So if $9 million was made and Canoe is holding on to it, and they shouldn't be holding on to it, it will go into the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and it will be distributed to all Bahamians. Now, how this works is the $9 million doesn't go directly from the Sovereign Wealth Fund to the Bahamians. The $9 million is invested on the markets the way Norway does. And so once it's invested in the markets and money, it multiplies and makes more money. That $9 million can turn into much more. It could double, turn into 18 million. Then the 18 million will be distributed equally to the Bahamian people. That's how it works. Next question. We're initially, as I keep saying, we're initially reducing that, and then we're going to get rid of it altogether once the money starts coming in from our natural resources and from our carbon credits, etc. So initially, we're going to reduce that to try to increase our commerce in the country. You don't increase commerce by increasing expenses. Let me help you with this. The government won't necessarily make more money by charging more money. If you want to encourage commerce, you need to go lower. So what does the Feds do? The Federal Reserve do in America when they want the economy to be boosted? They reduce interest rates. They reduce taxes in America when they want to boost stuff. You don't increase it. Let me put that in perspective for you. If you have a store, a clothing store, and the sales haven't been good, you haven't made much money, and you need to make your rent, pay your staff, etc., and you just need to get some money in. Do you increase prices to make more money? No. It will slow your sales down more. What you do is you have a sale. You reduce the cost of your products, and then it spurs more sales, and you're able to make some money. You're not making as much profit in the end, but you're making more money. You get the economy of your store moving. That's how you boost the economy, not by increasing taxes. You make sure you spread out the economy, diversify it so more money is coming in from more areas, reduce taxes so that more things can happen and that people can afford groceries. Next question. Someone says, what will happen to BJCs and BGCSEs? We've said in our educational plan, which is on our website, we are going to eliminate BGCSEs, right? For example, and BJCs. For example, there is no use for these exams. They're not accepted anywhere. You can't use them to go to college. You can't use them for any reason. And so, well, college abroad. And so they are pointless exams. And so we gave our proper plan in our educational plan where we're going to have end of year exams that's from the central government every single year. And those are going to be used to assess the students and the schools. And so schools that are doing more poorly, those are going to get attention from the central testing unit, and they're going to bring staff in to be able to assist with extracurricular for the students, make sure they have everything they need, their computers, their extra whatever classes they need. they're going to bring the team in to focus on them so the teacher can continue to focus on the students that have been doing good and continue to stay focused. And so, that's how that's going to work. Now, the schools that did good in these exams, they are going to get bonus payments for this. This happens right now in America, in Miami. It goes on. We got advice from this from professionals, respected professionals in Miami on a principal level on this. And so it causes the school to want to do better, the teachers to be rewarded for doing better. Okay, the Bahamas Union of Teachers had a problem about school shaming. They felt that would make some schools feel like they weren't doing well in school shaming. And so we compromised by saying that we could keep these results private, but the same results happen. But we don't think that we should not reward teachers in terms of extra pay, bonuses, because they got good results. All right, and so that's what we're doing with that. So students will still be allowed to take SATs and ACTs because these can be used to go into college in the U.S. and the States. But every year from primary school, there's going to be an assessment test at the end of the year that's from the testing department, and teachers won't be able to grade tests from their own schools because then they'll just give themselves a better grade. So all of this has been put into considerations. All right. Next question.
What are you going to do with immigration reform? Should an all-Bahamian exam
They want to know about immigration reform. We've talked about this over and repeatedly. We're going to focus on immigration because we are bringing in a sovereign wealth fund for all Bahamians to benefit. All right, and so we need to make sure that the persons benefiting are Bahamians. For those who are migrating here, they're going to come on a proper work permit so that they can work in this country. We're going to encourage that because we got to build a new Bahamas. And so they're going to come here, but they're not going to live in shanty towns when they come. They're not going to build a world within a world, a city within a city, where you have people who can't open a bank account, can't get a driver's license, can't do anything, and are living in squalor. There's not going to be any more shanty towns. People are going to live in decency. When persons migrate to Miami, New York, Quebec, Canada, and these other places, they don't live in shanty towns. They get, a house or an apartment. That's what they do. The same thing must happen here. We can't treat these people poorly because, we want them for slave labor. That's what the oligarchs have been doing with them, using them for slave labor. While they can't get any electricity, they are paying taxes because every time they buy a bottle of water or buy something at the store, they're paying VAT. And so we have to make sure that there's no more shanty towns, right? And so how are we going to get rid of this? Humanely. Foreigners are going to come here to work from all over, from Philippines, from Haiti, from anywhere. We're going to build housing complexes for them that has apartments, and they're going to live in these. This is going to be owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund. So as the money is made from these housing apartments, etc., the money is going to be invested on the markets. The money is going to be flipped. More money is going to be made from it, and then the money that comes in goes to you. So now we're going to be benefiting as a people from immigration. All right, and so that's how this is going to work. I hope I covered every aspect of it, but that's how it's going to work. All right. Next question.
Are you going to the Princess Hotel and the Bazaar?
Am I going to rebuild the Princess Hotel, and the Bazaar? Listen, we have some plans that's going to make the Bazaar and the Princess Hotel a thing of the past. It's going to make you forget about them. All right, we are going to do some things in terms of tourism that we're going to benefit from, that you're going to start thinking like Dubai. All right, we are investing. We have a company that the government is forming as a private company that's going to invest in tourism. It's going to make it's going to compete with Dubai. All right, We are going for their tourism numbers. We're going for their tourism numbers. Their $20 million tourism number, we're going for that. We're looking to bring 25 million tourists a year to this country in the short term. We're looking to do things to do that. And so we're going to build to make that happen. Go and look at our tourism plan, and you're going to see some of the things that are there. We're going to let Bahamians participate in that. All over the Family Islands, we're going to invest in you, invest in your projects, invest in your dreams. And so as you're investing, you're going to make a part of the profits. The Sovereign Wealth Fund is going to make a part of the profits, and all Bahamians are going to benefit. So again, the profits come in, they're invested, and when the investments come in, it goes to all Bahamians. Next question.
In the event that TOI does not become a member, will you continue to pursue justice?
Someone asked if the Coalition of Independence doesn't win, do we plan to continue fighting for justice for the Bahamian people, and how do we plan to accomplish that? I've been doing that for the last 20 years. So how I plan to accomplish it is to continue doing what I've been doing. I could decide to retire at this point. If the Bahamian people decide that they don't want any of us, that may be a sign that we need to step down, because Bahamians don't want something different, and you have to give people what they want. You can't force anything on people. So we have to make that decision, and we will make that decision once we continue. But we plan on continuing this fight. All right? Fighting is in us. That's what we plan. We need you to go there and make a decision. Make a decision for New Bahamas. Make a decision to move forward with something new. If you decide that you don't want something new, why should I fight and force it on you? That's the decision, is yours. Next question.
When will the Belt and Road Initiative be implemented?
They said, when will the Belt and Road Initiative be initiated? The Belt and Road Initiative has already been going on. That's a Chinese initiative to connect many countries to China through trading routes, through roads, etc. It's kind of like the Silk Road that they had back in the day, where they had roads linking Asia to Europe and to Africa and other countries. So they're building freeways and other things to China, and so they're spending a lot of money on that. So Belt and Road, the road part of it actually means the sea shipping lanes. So they're building ports and shipping lanes to connect to China. That's the road part of it. I know it sounds strange, but the actual freeways, etc., they're building is called the Belt. All right. So sometimes you hear them called highways belts in America. So the Belt is actually the freeways, bridges, etc., that's connecting China to Europe, to Africa, etc. They're going to spend up to $10 trillion on this project. I think they've spent up to about $2 trillion so far. And so we want to be able to provide these people with sand, with limestone, with whatever natural resources that we have to get this done. So that project has been going on for some time now, and it's going to continue. And these are persons we expect to be our customers moving forward. Next question.
Any plans for Zuma, Bracket, and Southern Islands?
Any plans for the Southern Islands? Yes, we have lots of plans for the Southern Islands. They also listed Exuma. We have lots of plans for the Southern Islands. We've been talking about these quite a bit. We have plans to make sure that agriculture is built up in the Southern Islands. The islands have been wasting. We have tourism projects for the Southern Islands that we want to develop on them. These islands have amazing beaches. Crooked Island, Acklands. We want to transform you into a tourist mecca and farming mecca. All right. There's some other plans I'll get into, but we have to continue. We have to continue going because we're almost out of time. Go ahead.
What are the is there a plan to
Yes. Sorry. Is there a plan to revamp the Boys and Girls Industrial School and the School for Disabled? Yes. We have many projects that we want to focus on. We have experts who are part of our team as it relates to this and as it relates to disabled children. And so we have some serious plans for disabled children, but we're going to incorporate them, keep them in inclusive environments, because they have to learn social skills. So their schools are going to be with other schools attached to them. But their classes are going to be more like a housing type situation, so they can learn housing skills. They learn differently. They have different needs. They need to learn how to take a fork and use it. Some of them. Some of them need to learn how to write differently. Some of them need to learn different skills that other children don't need to learn. And so we have an expert on our team, master's degree in this, Mr. Trevor Green, who's going to focus on children with disability. We need to change their lives and make sure that they're independent. So there's going to be a serious focus on disabilities and children with disabilities. All right. And so in terms of boys and girls industrial school, yes, we're going to transform that. A lot of these children need to be dealt with in a different way, more than just discipline. Some of them have never experienced love. Some of them are in certain social situations. We need to identify the actual problem and be able to inspire them. Some of them are athletes. Some of them have talent. Some of them have gifts. We found that when you focus on their gifts and what they're here for, you kind of transform those kids. And so there's going to be a different focus on them and dealing with their situation. So I can't elaborate now because I'm rushing, but we keep going. What are your plans for expunging records? All records will be expunged for persons who have marijuana records, not the major records in terms of shipments and that kind of things, but individual records where you were smoking small amounts of marijuana, etc. Those are going to be expunged because we think it was an injustice to all young men whose lives have been destroyed as relates to that. Someone has a question about Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be accepted in the Bahamas as currency. They're doing it in other countries right now, like El Salvador and other countries. And so we're going to accept Bitcoin, etc. We're going to dollarize, and now you're going to be able to use Cash App and other apps that will allow it, so that you're not left out. PayPal should be able to go straight to your bank account. Right? These are the kinds of things that we want to do. All right.
The port of entry.
You said the port of entry, air and sea in North and Central Andros needs major development. Central Andros, remember, you are voting for Harrington, Fraser. No one else. You're still going to see Wellington on the ballot, but remember, vote for Harrington, Fraser. That's who we've endorsed it down there. That's who we've endorsed down there. We have promised certain things to you, and that's what we are going to deliver. Harrington, Fraser. All right, remember that. Go ahead. Say again. The Bain dollar become a decentralized currency. The Bain dollar is going to be gone. We're going to dollarize, and that's going to help us with inflation and other things because we want to be able to give you your money. All right. So the Bain dollar is going to be gone. We also want to get rid of exchange control so that Bahamians can now use the foreign stock exchange and buy shares on the New York Stock Exchange and other stocks exchanges, NASDAQ, etc., the British Stock Exchange. We want you to be owners. When you start making your money, we want you to be able to invest it around the world. And so we want to dollarize to make that much easier than it is right now. Go ahead. How soon can Bahamians abroad come home to reap the benefits? I would advise you that once there's a blackout, I hope you've been talking to your family and friends and preaching to them. Once there's a blackout, come home right away. Once there's a blackout, come home. Let's get started. Next question.
Will the ban be lifted from Haiti for citizens/residents?
Will the ban be lifted from Haiti? Of course, we shouldn't have persons locked down in any other country. Listen, I've told you before and I'll tell you again. When Bahamians are in distress anywhere in the world, we are coming for them. No matter what is going on. If someone offends or hurts a Bahamian anywhere in the world, we are sending a team. We are sending investigators, just like America would do. We are coming for our Bahamian people. Just like you've known me over the years to come when I'm called and to fight for whoever I'm called to fight for, whether they're from a different political party or not, no matter who they are, we show up. And so the world is going to know that Bahamians have an entire government behind them. They are not alone, no matter where they are in this world. The Bahamians have an entire government behind them. Next question.
Will our son
Sand dollar is not crypto. It's actually fiat. It's not crypto at all. And so we're going to have crypto. We're going to go into that, but we're also going to go into crypto mining. But we're actually going to go into crypto. We'll explain that some more later. But sand dollar is not crypto.
will the sex offender
Will the sex offenders list finally be published and made public? Yes. Many years ago, I was doing a show called Controversy TV, and I was, a lot of young single mothers had children who were molested, molested in different instances. The police weren't taking it serious. I would, go with them to CID to force them to deal with it because they know if I was there that they couldn't sweep it under the rug. And so many, many single mothers, I went to CID with them and made their case get proper investigation and proper attention. One of the things I decided to do after that, because a lot of them were pastors that were doing this stuff, some of them were police officers, people in who should be trusted. And so I decided that I would ask the government to do it. When they refused, I did a sexual offenders register. Me and the team went through all of the newspapers for everyone who was ever arrested for any sexual offense, and we put a list on the website of all of these names. And so that's something I did on my own. This is the kind of stuff I've been doing for a long time. Many Bahamians don't know about all of my track record. Some people are just, I guess, just getting to know me. But I've been doing this for a long time. And so that is what we did. So I can assure you, based on my track record, you can assure yourself that there will be a sexual offenders register. I'm sorry, but the age of sexual consent will go to 18 from 16. Because there should be no reason that you could consent to do something that causes you to have a baby, but you can't sign a contract. You can't drive a car, but you can have a baby? That makes no sense. I don't know who the perverted politician was who decided to put that into place, but that needs to change immediately. Next question. What about? They said, what about the credit bureau? Will that still be put in place? Yes, but to be used as a tool for you, not a tool against you. So you're still going to have a credit bureau, but not to be able to keep you down. You are going to be able to afford to live in this country. You're going to have a cushion as a Bahamian because your forefathers gave us a country that is very valuable, and you should benefit from that. Next question.
if you get rid of stock exchange, don't you
They said if you get rid of the stock exchange, wouldn't the U.S. be able to tap into the? I'm not getting rid of the stock exchange. All right, the stock exchange is not going anywhere. The stock exchange is not going anywhere. We'll still have our internal stock exchange, and now Bahamians will be able to invest in the stock market. And so we're not getting rid of the stock exchange. Okay. I think I have to end it there. There's a lot of questions. Bahamas, I want to thank you for spending the entire night with me. Tomorrow, be out there early. Vote early. This is your chance for change, your one chance for change. All right? We need this change. You need this change. We can't go forward the way we have been doing it. We can't. We can't, Bahamas. You have a choice. My last words to you is that you've experienced this PLP FNM administration, which is the same, for all of these years. Where has it gotten you? If you're in the unions, where has it gotten you? I saw that one of the union leaders, Obi Ferguson, advised people not to vote for the FNM. This is a union that we met with. and we decided that we have committed to putting their workers' part into our laws, everything in it. And so he didn't tell you which party to vote for. But I think if I could peep his brain, he's going to vote for us. And he would want you to vote for us. I don't really know that. But we know that you cannot vote for the F&M. Can you imagine putting Minnis back and emboldening him after all that he has done? Can you imagine after what he's done to Abaco, putting him back there? Can you imagine that? The arrogance, the neglect, and putting him back there? I can't imagine that. I can't imagine any Bahamian voting F&M. There's some who said, well, he had hurricanes and that's an excuse. No, it's not the hurricane, because every prime minister had hurricanes to deal with, every single one. We are prepared for a hurricane. We are ready for a hurricane if a hurricane comes next week. We know exactly what we're going to do. We're not going to be fumbling around. We know exactly what we are going to do. Because the first thing you should expect is a major hurricane. And so it was his response to the hurricane that was detrimental. You remember, so I won't elaborate on it. They said he had an epidemic, a pandemic that caused a downturn in the economy. Every prime minister has had a downturn in the economy to deal with. Ingram had to deal with the 1992 downturn in the economy that was caused by the Iraq War. The bubble, the Y2K that was coming that caused another economic crash. Christie had to deal with 9/11 and the aftermath of that, although Ingram really had to deal with that 9/11. But the aftermath of it, Christie had to deal with. And then Ingram and Christie had to deal with the housing bubble. Every prime minister has to deal with these downturns in the economy. We had the Great Recession. It's the response that shocks everyone. And so our responses are not going to be for corruption, like doing a food program to give money to the oligarchs. No. Give the people their money. Let them spend that $300 million. However they want, with whoever they want. If they want to go to budget meet, instead of you getting that money from the oligarchs who paid for your election, let them go and spend their money at budget meet. Bahamians. If they want to go to buy for less, let them go there. Give them the money and let them spend it, not you spend it with the oligarchs and probably get kickbacks. So the $2,000 stimulus that we're talking about could have been done. It could have. But you keep falling for the same corrupt practice. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow's a big day. I spent my evening with you. My team is prepared. My team is ready. The OAS said that they will be watching the Pinewood polls. They gave us a commitment. We'll see if they show up tomorrow. We have to fight for this. We have to fight. We have to fight. Figure out where you're supposed to go, who you're supposed to vote for, and go there early. Yes, the line is going to be long if you go early, but I believe there's going to be some skullduggery that's going to cause us to go long. All right? And it's going to cause some polls to close with persons having not been able to vote. We've made certain complaints. They've targeted us, but we're moving forward. No excuses. We're moving forward. We have gone in 1 year from educating the Bahamian people to fighting for the Bahamian people to putting ourselves forward to represent the Bahamian people like no one ever has. They said we're selling dreams. The only dream that we're selling is that Bahamians can be first in this nation. The only dream that we are selling is that Bahamians can benefit from their natural resources. Don't let them fool you and tell you it's worth nothing. We showed you the treasure. We showed you the value of the sand. And you've noticed today, you've noticed that they found something that didn't look right with drawings. And they were all over, sharing all in WhatsApp groups. All in America sharing those WhatsApp groups. Look, we caught them. Look, they did billings that are from other people. So after seeing that, Bahamas, think of all the things that I've said over the last year. If any word was incorrect, they would have finished me a long time ago. The reason they can't is because every word that Bahamian Evolution and the Coalition of Independence has brought to you is the truth. Now look at their manifestos. They're now starting to promise you stuff that we have said. Bahamas, they're not going to give you what's yours. Think about your children when you go to vote. That's it. That's all. Bahamas, tomorrow is the big day. You have a decision to make. 50 years forward or 50 years backwards. Whether you're going to listen to them who are saying that we're selling dreams and continue to live in a nightmare while they are living the dream. The choice is yours. Bahamas, thank you for the last year, for all of your support, for everyone who came and brought $10 or $20 or $100 or $150, for every Bahamian who made this the most amazing grassroots movement that we've ever seen. Thank you. For everyone who sacrificed the little that they have. The people who brought a case of chicken. The people who brought a case of water. Thank you. Tomorrow, again, continue. If you have a case of water, bring it to your constituency. If you have a case of soda, a case of juice, bring it. If you have a case of anything, bring it. If you have a few dollars, bring it. This is a movement that was funded by the Bahamian people. We owe nothing to any oligarch, and we have operated on the same level as the so-called major parties. The only people we owe a debt to is the Bahamian people who have made this possible. We owe you because you made this possible. No oligarch, no special interest, no one who asked us for anything in return. A new, true, transparent, clean Bahamas is a day away. Ladies and gentlemen, stand up for what is right. Stand up for your children. Stand up for yourselves. Thank you for showing up tomorrow and showing out. Change is not coming. Change is here. See you next time.